BYB Bare-Knuckle heads back to the UK on November 9th for BYB 33 at the Hangar in Wolverhampton, West Midlands. The Emperor of BYB, Marvelous Marko Martinjak, one of Europe's most experienced fighters in the mighty Trigon, takes on undefeated star Brad Scott for the BYB Super Cruiserweight Police Gazette Diamond Belt. While former BKB multiple division champion Dan Podmore looks to make it 2-0 against the Cockroach Barrett when they face off for the inaugural BYB Bridgerweight Police Gazette Diamond Belt. Plus, former BYB heavyweight champion Hurricane Ike Villanueva makes his UK debut. Visit BYBExtreme.com today for tickets and information.
Welcome to the Original Fighter's Voice. I'm your host, Don Mcguire. As you can see, Dan, the Big Pod Podmore. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Recovering from surgery, but I love doing these things, especially with the European fighters, because, I've been with BYB for a long time, but I've loved bare-knuckle longer than it's been in the States. So, the UK has been tremendous on the creation, formation, and the continuation of bare-knuckle. What was it like for you, my man, to have BYB not only come in and converge with BKB back in the day, but now to be the predecessor of BKB and bring all of you together as one big family? What does it mean to you moving forward?
It means bigger opportunities, more eyes on the sport, especially for us English guys, some us British guys. Obviously, it brings a lot of more exposure. So I'm happy just for that alone, to be fair, because BKB, obviously, we're the pioneers of the sport. We're the ones that have helped it develop to what it is. The Americans obviously have grabbed hold of it and they've took it to the next level. So I'm happy now that we've had an American company take over. Like I said, it's more eyes, more exposure, it means more money. It's just exciting times ahead.
Yeah. The thing that I saw would be the main objective or the hardest part for European fighters to converge into the American style or the new era style would be the dirty clinch or the dirty boxing. I know you've competed in MMA before, but how unusual was it for you to utilize the dirty clinch in your first fight?
Well, I haven't fought in the Trigon yet, so it's going to be my first time on the Wolverhampton card. Like I said, but I have did MMA before. I used to do a lot of Thai back in the day when I was young, so I'm not a stranger to the clinch. It's just, when the English sort of fight and the British fight, as soon as you get tied up in like a clinch, they like to separate. You know what I mean? But then there's shots that you obviously see and you're looking. There's angles that you can be taking advantage of. But obviously, if you do that inside like the BKB rules, obviously you get into trouble for. So, like grabbing around the neck and hitting and stuff like that. So it opens more opportunities on how to create damage and finish the fight.
Yeah. You've been quite successful in bare-knuckle. Do you think that the rule set, the mindset, the changing of some of the rules and regulations as when BYB took over, do you think it's going to hinder you in any manner?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. A fight's a fight. Whether I'm going into a K1, whether I'm going to an MMA fight, whether I'm going into a boxing match, a fight is a fight at the end of the day. Whether you're using your feet, your legs, your elbows, or choking someone out, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? All fights start standing up, and yeah, it doesn't matter to me. Like I said, it's a fight is a fight.
Yeah. Now you've already defeated this opponent. The first outing. What will you gain, Dan, from the second outing? I mean, I know there's a title on the, at stake, but moving forward with a title, it'll create a new legacy for your past. It'll create a new.
Absolutely, yeah. It's for me, it's gonna be world title number 4. Obviously, I've won 3 world titles. The heavyweight, the cruiserweight, and then I've won the cruiserweight back after losing it. Now this is just another division for me to conquer. It's nothing. Yeah, it's one of them. It's just cementing more of the Dan Podmore legacy. That's all it is. It's like I said, it doesn't matter who it could have been against anybody. This fight, it's not going to matter. It's just I'm always in shape. I'm always training hard. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter who it was. I'm just happy to fight. Having not fought for a while now, obviously because of the merger, I've liked to have stayed a bit more active. Probably had one in between, but yeah, I'm ready to go, and I've put the hard work in, and you're going to see something special.
Yeah, I think the best way to do this, because I'm one of the fairest people in the world. I caught, well, because I'm with BYB, but I caught the video that they did with you and your opponent, and you both go back and forth.
Yeah.
So with your permission, I would like to play that, because it shows both of you, the sportsmanship and everything, and whole. And I like that in the industry, because you guys over there just have a different take than a lot of Americans, excluding Conor McGregor in Ireland, but or Scotland, wherever he's from. But for the most part, the UK are really, really humble people, and I enjoy that, and I want to share this part of you.
Okay.
Oh, good shot, left arm. Good, rocked him. And again, he's in trouble. Good body shot. Trouble here.
We're the same as Pod. We'll do anything to win, and I think you're going to see a lot of me and him doing whatever to win.
He's going to be confident, isn't he? He's had a few devastating knockouts in the last couple of fights, so that's going to create a lot of confidence. But those guys aren't me.
I'm going to do absolutely everything I can to win.
I have no doubt in my mind that I'm going to win this fight. Obviously, I wouldn't be fighting otherwise if I didn't think I was going to win. I had a really bad motorcycle accident when I was 20 years of age. Well, I broke my back in 3 places. I cracked my sternum. I ripped my shoulder off. Had to rebuild my shoulder. My nerves were stretched. It was dead for 2 years. They told me I wasn't never going to walk again. Yeah. But I says, you watch me. So and then they says, right, you're never going to be into the gym again. I says, okay, you can't tell me something that, you got to tell me to do something. And, you know what I mean? I'm going to go and do it. I'm in pain every day, Tom.
Really?
I'm in pain. I train in pain every day. My shoulders are knackered.
So why?
Because I love it. I love it. I love to fight, Tom. I have to go to bed with painkillers, otherwise I don't sleep.
I decided when I had it, I thought, right, I'm going to do everything with this bag. It's not going to stop me from doing anything. So anyone else out there who's got colitis, Crohn's disease or chronic diseases, just look and think, do I want this to be, I'm going to be a sick case for the rest of my life because I've got a disease that anyone can get, or do I want to carry on and do what the fuck I want regardless of this, and decide, and you can do whatever you want. I'm living proof of it. And my grandma, she brought me up to believe you can do whatever you want. And I'm my mum and dad, regardless if you don't give in. Like you say, the day you give in would have been the day you would have fucking succeeded. That's why I get a bit emotional to talk about it, because
I get that.
Everything I've ever done is with them words ringing in my ear. And I've got so much respect for Dan as a fighter, because I tried to fucking kill Podmore in that fight and he was still there at the end. And I tell you, people say, oh, because your friends, I ain't fuck about that. I wanted to hurt him and I tried my best to, and he was still there. And listen, you got to admire that, haven't you?
Ryan knows what I bring to the table. I know what he brings to the table. I don't say it's going to be much of like the last fight was, because all game plans went out the window in the last fight and it just turned into a scrap. That's not going to happen this time. We're going to actually implement some skills into this fight, and obviously we'll see the best man in on the night is.
Yeah, I've lost to Dan, yeah, and do you know what, that was in a fight where had I done all the things right, it may have turned out a different way. But I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad Pod won, because I think I faced Pod at his best then, and I was not at my best. I'm at my best now, and I know I'll get the best. I know my name being next to Dan's on a poster, I'll get the best out of us both. And I'll tell you now, me and him in that triangle, there won't be a better fight on the night. No way. It's guaranteed to be mental, because me and Dan are both mental.
See, I love that, Nate, you know, because, you know, generally you get a lot of crap talking, but this gentleman truly respects you. I want to take you a little bit back before that. You know, I've been through 254 surgeries. I've lost my leg. I just had cervical spine surgery. Infusion didn't take. So I know what it's like to hold your life in your hand. I know what it's like to look at your family and try to figure out what's best for the world. What had Dan Podmore get up off his knees and not only continue to fight, but to create something better for his life and for his walk?
Yes, when I started, I had a really bad motorbike accident. Doctors told me I was never going to walk again. But I'm just the type of guy that, you know, if you're going to tell me I can't do something, I am going to go and do it. Whether it's, you know, whether it's learning to walk again or being able to train myself to, you know, to get back into the gym, or like I said, from the get-go, I've been fighting at a disadvantage. I've got half the strength in my right arm that I have in my left arm, and I am a right-handed person, and I'm still a three-time world champion. You know what I'm saying? Now it just makes me think that, you know, if I had two good arms, what could have been the possibilities? You know what I mean? So you're never going to tell me that I'm never going to be able to fight, because I will go fight. I'll fight with one hand. I'll fight with no hands. You know what I mean? So if I cut my arm off, I'd beat you with it. You know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is. I'm a born fighter. It's one of them.
I absolutely love you, because before, when I was above the knee, now, I mean, I was below the knee before I went above the knee, but I used to say, you know, because people would talk crap, and I said, man, I'll take my leg off and beat the hell out of you with it. I don't care. You know, just because I got one leg doesn't mean crap to me, mate. You know, that's the beauty that I see in you, brother, because I understand that feeling. I understand what it takes to overcome. And now you've got that drive, that determination that is second to none. Who was the mentor? Who was the person that stood side by side with you, Dan? Who was the one that built you up to where you are now? Because look at where you were just a short few years ago. And now not only have you built a legacy, you're adding to it. Who was that mentor that pushed you, brother?
I can only say, you know, it's myself. I wanted better for myself. You know, I was going down the wrong path. I was drinking. Obviously, my life took a big spiral after the crash. And it come to the point in my life where I thought, you know what, it's time to take a hold of things, take a hold of my life. I was fighting every week. You know, I turned into a bit of a journeyman. Got back into boxing and stuff, and I was just taking fights every week. I didn't care if I lost. I just was doing it for a bit of money. But then, you know, I beat Josh Burns, you know, on a couple hours' notice. No training, just got on the back end of a piss up after 2 weeks in Turkey. I wasn't supposed to win that fight, but I come through the end of it, and I beat him, stopped him in 2 rounds. So from that day forward, I thought, you know what, it's time to actually put some heart and soul into this training malarkey. I said, because I've never really trained like a professional fighter. It's always been in and out the gym and a bit of weightlifting and stuff like that. Just keeping myself sort of like 3 to 5 round fit. But yeah, then I thought, you know what, if I put some effort in and I put some heart and soul, you know, dedicate my life to it a little bit, we'll see how far I can go. And when I did, you know, a British title quickly followed. And then after that, a world title followed. And then another world title and the Police Gazette titles. So it was yeah, it's just I keep surpassing my own sort of expectation goals. Yeah, so I'm like, I wonder how far more I can take this sort of thing. So now I get the chance to be like a 2 promotion world champion, a 4-time world champion. So it's, and now that's little old me, Dan Podmore, you know, from Birmingham in England. You know what I mean? Who would ever thought this? You know what I mean? When I was, you know, laying traction on a bed in the hospital. You know what I mean? Not knowing if I was going to walk again. You know what I mean? Who'd have thought that I was going to be a bare-knuckle world champion? Someone that's, you know, possibly known all around the globe. You know what I mean? So I have friends in like Syria and stuff like that off Instagram, and I've got in Singapore and in Indonesia and stuff like that. It's, you know, I have a lot of fans, and it just humbles me. You know, little old me. It just shows, you know, if you put your mind to something, you can actually do great things.
Well, you've already done great things, my friend. You know, see, that's the great part about me being old and understanding what you went through with illness, because my grandfather and a lot of my listeners, you know, a lot of course, a lot of people are at work. I never usually do a show this early, but you know, the world doesn't stop for us. You know, the world doesn't stop for anybody, and you have
Absolutely.
responsibility. So when you create responsibility, you have to take care of your responsibility. If I was to say, oh, they took my leg, I had, you know, 250 whatever surgeries, I'm not doing this no more. You know what? Then I'm not a man, because I'm the husband of the household. I'm the one that's supposed to put the food on the table.
Exactly.
You
You
know,
know, I've got children looking up to me and stuff like that. So, you know, I've got to be a role model.
well, you are a role model, and that's what I was going to ask you, because I know what Americans and people around the world, they say I'm inspiring because I could have a surgery, you know, 8 hours ago and I'd still be on the show right now.
Yeah.
Because I could lay in bed and cry about something, or I could get up and hurt and still do this and change your day and make your life a better day, or give you a great interview. You know, the thing about life is, I think people undervalue it and underappreciate it. How much more does Dan Podmore appreciate life now that you got a second opportunity?
It's like I said, the opportunities are endless, and I'm grateful for every day that, you know, I'm able to do what I love to do. Yeah, I can't even begin to think where I'd be if I didn't have bare knuckle or fighting. So I'm very, very grateful for the opportunities I've been given, the chances I've been given. So like, I can thank the BKB and now the BYB also. They're giving me more opportunities and more, you know, more tasks to, you know, to focus on, and more goals to achieve. And yeah, it keeps me sane. You know what I mean? So it keeps me going. Like I said, I need to, you know, if I tend to sort of stay at the gym for too long, I start to like veer a bit left. So it just keeps me on the straight and narrow. This keeps me focused. Like I said, I don't really have camps. I have to stay in the gym. You know what I mean? I could get a phone call at any minute. You know, so you know, the BYB could phone any minute and say we want you over in America. So I've got to stay ready. I've got to stay ready. I've got to. Like I said, there's a lot of people that look up to me, and there's a lot of people that I inspire. So I can't do things a normal man should do. You know what I mean? So don't get me wrong. I go and have enjoyed myself every time to time, but you know, like I said, I've got an image to uphold, and you know, I've got a lot of people that, you know, count on me and stuff. So yeah, I just got to keep continuing to do my best.
It's nice to be held to a higher standard in some certain situations, and especially when you hold yourself to a higher standard. You know, I can't believe December 12th will be 41 years for me in this industry. And my whole career, bro, because I started in Muay Thai and kickboxing and boxing, you know, and boxing was my truest love. And the last 4 years, well, a little over 4 years, it started out with me in this spot having a heart attack when I interviewed Virgil Hill, the world champion from boxing. And then I ended up getting cancer and had to go through multiple amputations of my leg.
I'm sorry
But the
to hear
reason
that.
oh no, there's, mate, nothing to be sorry about in life. See, I have no regrets. If I was to go back to day one, I'd live the exact same life all over again, because if I didn't, then my wife of 43 years would never have been in my life. My 38-year-old son, I never would have known him. I wouldn't be sitting here on the show with a multiple world champion over the pond that I truly appreciate. You know, see, a lot of people say things in haste because, you know, we do worry, we do get scared, but you wouldn't be human. You wouldn't be a true warrior or a man if you didn't have them thoughts. But let me give
Absolutely.
you, let me give you a piece of advice, and anybody can hate on me for this comment that I'm going to make, but it's my show. I pay the bill, brother. I'm getting ready to go into my 10th Hall of Fame in December. I'm not in a regional Hall of Fame. I'm not in a local Hall of Fame. And here's two of the top rings, just to verify. That's the National Boxing Hall of Fame, where when I went to Vander Holyfield, Roy Jones, Winky Wright, Marco Antonio Barrett, and then this is the one that cemented me in martial arts history. These are the two I wear because they both put me into the history books. And I always promised my wife that I would put our family into history because she gave up her dream so that I could live mine and give you guys yours. What does it mean for you now, you know, to have BYB, Mike Vasquez, Greg Bloom, Don Povia, and Mel Valenzuela, and Jim Freeman, and Joe Brown, all of them correlating now greater than they have before in the UK. What is the vibe for you fighters getting ready for Wolverhampton on the 9th? Because this is going to be huge. This is the first time we're going to be in Wolverhampton, South Midlands. What's the feeling like overseas?
It's for me. It's, you know, like I said, I've got a lot of new eyes on me, and I've got to go and perform. I've got to perform to the highest standard now. I've got to, you know, I've got to. I won't say like a point to prove, but I've got, you know, I've got to make people know who I am, you know, across the pond, you know, and I'm about to do that. You know what I'm saying? So this is what it's all about. I'm about to show people who Dan Podmore is. Most of the UK know, you know, if you know you're into the bare-knuckle and stuff, and possibly some of the US. But like I said, I'm here to show you all what I'm all about. And I can't wait just to capture this title and start dominating the division. And like I said, and there's even more possibilities ahead. You know, could you see me back at heavyweight? Could you see me go down more at cruiserweight? Well, we just don't know just yet. And I'm here to take belts, and that's what I intend to do.
I love that you brought that up because Bridgerweight isn't a weight that we generally see fighters fighting at. You know, because I'm from the world of boxing, and most MMA people are just totally lost right now when I brought up Bridgerweight. But you know, it's just a higher up super cruiserweight is what it really is.
Yeah.
It's in between a light heavy and
This is a
super cruiserweight.
division that originally was made by the WBC. Now in BKB weights, the weight would still be at cruiserweight. But like I said, there's a big hop between cruiserweight and heavyweight in the BYB. That's 91 kilos. Now, there's a couple of guys that weigh 150 kilos that, you know, in the BKB, the likes of like George Taylor and stuff like that. Now, if you're 92 kilos and you have to go fight someone that's 150, that's a big difference, and that's impossible. You know what I mean? So it's weight. That's why there's weight divisions. You know, this even maybe creating a super heavyweight division, but yeah, there's some big guys big guys coming in. So I've dominated the heavyweight division, you know, for a number of years. And like I said, but they're getting bigger and bigger, and I'm losing a little bit more weight. So, like I said, you could see me back. You could see me back at heavyweight. Like I said, we're going to see what happens between Trujillo and Richie Leak in December.
I was
That's
just
a
going to
friend.
say,
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I would love for you to get that opportunity to get that W back from Leak. I really would, bro.
Absolutely.
You didn't look like yourself in that fight at all. You know, what was the situation? Because you looked like you were slow. You didn't look like you really wanted to be there. What was going on, Dan?
It was a accumulation of things. Camp didn't go too well. I was starting to believe that I was coming to the end of my career. You know, I was picking up injuries left, right, and centre. The coach I had at the time, you know, he took me to the heights of winning the world titles, but then there was something then, and I needed a bit more. I needed more technical ability and technical knowledge, and he couldn't just give it. He couldn't give it me, so I had to find it elsewhere. And now I found it, and I'm back learning again, and I'm getting even better. So for me, the Richie League was me at my worst, on the decline. So I should never have taken that fight anyway, but I wanted to fight. I was at cruiserweight limit. I was 99 kilos, and the geezer was 120, 130 kilos. I should never have took the fight. I should have just pulled out, to be fair. Let's just have it right, because I basically flushed my heavyweight title down the toilet. Which I still could have been champion. You know, I still could have I possibly could have had that fight against, you know, Gustavo Trujillo. That's another fight that I'd do maybe have in my sights. Like I said, he's probably one of the best boxers in the BYB, and that's something that I want to test myself. You know, I'm always wanting to test myself. Now, the Richie League fight, I always like to rectify wrongs. So that's another fight as well, because I was whooping him for 2 rounds, and then I decided to just stop boxing, and it just cost me. So I was taking too many shots from a guy that was nearly 2 or 3 stone, which is 14 kilos maybe, 21 kilos heavier, which is not the greatest thing to do, to be fair. Maybe if I was weighed a little bit more, my durability probably could have took a bit more. But like I said, I was still in that fight. It was my corner that actually threw the towel. I was still in the fight. I was a bit embarrassed that I got thrown through the ropes, but it is what it is. You know, shoulda, woulda, couldas, and all that. It doesn't matter now, because that's the way the fight ended. Now it's up to the BYB, maybe. If we want to get that fight on again, you know what I mean. If I want to rectify that wrong, then I will. So
yeah, well, that's what's crazy, and I'm glad they changed kind of the rules set over there now. You know, with different governing bodies and things, because you know a lot of people here in the United States, and I'm gonna get to some of your comments in a minute. I know a lot of you've been commenting, but I'm enthralled with this interview because Dan is just a tremendous individual. But a lot of people don't realize that in the bare knuckle world, they've created and made some changes just recently. Before, when you were in the heavyweight division, I mean, these guys could basically blow up to almost whatever they want, and you can walk in at 120 or 220, and you got to fight a 280-pound gorilla, and that's not
absolutely.
right. So what they've done is they've come up with a cutoff point with the light heavy and heavyweight, and I like that, because I don't think that. Because truly over in the UK, you guys would be light heavyweights and still fight heavyweights and not even care, because
Absolutely.
that's just the way you're born and bred. But
that's the way we're built.
Yeah, but I like that they're creating a fair, you know, level playing field now, and coming up with some new insets in the rules. You know, I'm going to get to this comment because he's from over where you're at, and he's a very good friend of mine. His name is Craig Costello. He's from Leeds. And he says, firstly, sorry, Don, to hear who lost his sister. I lost my sister about 4 or 5 days ago, bro.
Okay.
But he says, question to Dan. Barrett is a tough customer. What's the plan to break him, pal? Well, he really can't tell you that, mate, but I'll let him speak on it anyway. But, what's the hypothesis to the question, Dan?
Well, Ryan's got to be able to handle what I'm about to bring. And in the first fight, he couldn't do that. So he retired he didn't come out for the third round. I think the constant pressure, Ryan likes to have things his own way. We sparred, he was my sparring partner for 2 years before we fought, so I know Ryan's ins and outs, you know what I mean? He knows exactly how I operate, and I know exactly how he operates. And when the tough gets going, Ryan tries to find a way out. And that's exactly what's going to happen this time, because you can't change character, it's totally, it's impossible. If you've got that trait, you can't change it. So,
you figured out his game plan. I mean, it's, I don't know. This fight to me, honestly, because I have to remain in the middle, but what I seen from the first outing, he better step up his game, because, you don't play, bro.
He's had me at my worst, okay? That fight, all game plans went out the window. It was just, I didn't box, right? I just thought, let's just have a scrap. I bit down on my gum shield, and after he hurt me, and I thought, let's just have it. Let's see who can go into deep water, and let's who can walk into the fire. And I proved that he couldn't. I drowned him. He literally just drowned. That's it. So now I'm hoping that he's put the time and effort in and put the work in that he's had to do to try and beat me, because I am better. I am much better than that fight. So he's going to find that out. And now I'm actually quite worried for him, because from what I've been seeing, he's not improved, and I have majorly. So we're going to see. I'm hoping that he's able to handle what I've got to give to him. But like I said, may the best man win on the night. But there's no other option for me but to win. So yeah, I will have my hand raised. That's a promise.
I love it. We're going to go to commercial, and we'll be right back.
BYB Bare-Knuckle heads back to the UK on November 9th for BYB 33 at the Hangar in Wolverhampton, West Midlands. The Emperor of BYB, Marvelous Marko Martinjak, one of Europe's most experienced fighters in the mighty Trigon, takes on undefeated star Brad Scott for the BYB Super Cruiserweight Police Gazette Diamond Belt. While former BKB multiple division champion Dan Podmore looks to make it 2-0 against the Cockroach Barrett when they face off for the inaugural BYB Bridgerweight Police Gazette Diamond Belt. Plus, former BYB heavyweight champion Hurricane Ike Villanueva makes his UK debut. Visit BYBExtreme.com today for tickets and information.
Now, mate, let me ask you a question, because it just popped into my head. Now, this is for the Police Gazette World Diamond Belt. So, are you the first one to fight at Bridgerweight for this title? I didn't even look it up. So, you'll be the first Bridgerweight Police Gazette World Champion if you win this fight, mate. What does that mean to you? Because not only are you adding to your legacy, but you're creating history for your family and for the world.
Well, I've already created history for myself, holding 2 Police Gazette UK titles. The first man in 141 years to do that. So, like I said, I keep breaking through these plateaus. You know what I mean? So it's I shock myself sometimes. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's little old me, and I'm fighting at this level. I can't believe it. To be fair, it's just. But I knew that if I was ever be successful at anything, it'd be inflicting violence on someone. So that's it. So
I love it. You know, my brother, this young man, I'm proud of him, and I'm sorry for sharing him on the interview with you. But Nate Wren,
okay.
I've been working with this gentleman for just about 7 years. He said that was a good commercial. But the great thing about him is he's only 34 years old, and he's already a three-time Hall of Fame photographer and a pro boxer. You know, the kid is just so talented. I'm one of those individuals in life. I like seeing other people succeed, especially if I like you.
Absolutely,
You
absolutely.
know, he says they don't make them like Dan Podmore anymore. And you know, I have to say, I knew about you, but when I started looking into Dan Podmore, your your story is heartbreaking, but with a tremendous ending. You know, the trials and tribulations that you had to walk through, the overcoming. See, a lot of people can say they understand, but I truly understand. I was told I was never going to walk again. You know, I was told that I was going to die multiple times. I had a feeling to, you know, people say they understand when, you know, when we speak about these things, but they don't truly understand. They're compassionate enough to say they do. But how many times did you look at yourself in the mirror, brother, and redefine yourself and tell yourself that can't wasn't a word, isn't a word? What what formulated in your heart and in your mind
I
to
don't
give
think
you
I don't think I don't think it's ever been like a an option. I can't. It's not even. I don't even. You know, if you say you can't do something, you know, I can't listen to that. It doesn't compute. When I say to someone, I can't do it. I say I'm just like, I can't. My brain doesn't compute that word because it's just, you know, anything is possible. Um, you know,
yeah,
I go to the gym with my partner, and she's like, "Oh, Dan, I can't." I say, "Listen, there's no such word as can't. Get and do it. That's it." So, yes, it's just, you know, they told me that you know, that I would never go to the gym again and stuff like that. I says, "Well, we're gonna see." You know, when I had the nerve was the badly stretched into my arm, so I could lift my arm like an inch for 2 years. It was just an inch. I was just, he was just dead. So what I used to do, I used to pick my arm up and put it on the weight machines and stuff, and I used to, you know, I used to force it to do something. And it's obviously worked. It just started to come back to life. So, and it just proves, you know, if it's consistency, it's determination, it's everything. It's
love,
just
love, grit, heart. Yeah. You
absolutely.
know, look at
That's it.
look at Tiffin. Tiffin came back after a horrendous, you know, part of his life. There's just a lot of people in the UK, I think, that deserve to have their stories told because, you know, people they want to see you as a warrior. But what I love is the path that got you to becoming a warrior. And you're really a double warrior because you fought when most people would have just laid down. But not only did you get back up, you created a new aspect, a new walk in your life. I know you fought in MMA. I don't even want to touch on any of that. What I want to touch on is this new Dan Podmore sitting in front of me. This man that has overlooked, redefined, recreated. This is the biggest fight in the history of Dan Podmore.
Absolutely.
You know, this moment will go down in history either way. Where does it sit? Because I know a lot of fighters, because I've been around a long time, but I know what it's like to sit with fighters the night before a fight. What's it like? Is it hectic? Is it deep? Do you just sit there deep in thought? What does Dan Podmore do the night before you walk out to face your opponent?
Yes, I don't really. Obviously, I have nervous energy. I think, you know, you wouldn't be a man if you didn't have nervous energy. You know, I tried to just go through the game plan. You know, visualize what I'm gonna do. Um, if it all goes paired, can I adapt? But yeah, it's that's basically what it comes down to. I just visualize how to win. And the nerves obviously do set in. But then as soon as I hit that ring walk, it's just tunnel vision. It's tunnel vision. Then and I've got my eyes firmly set on the task at hand, and we've got one task, and that's to win. So, but there's no quit. There's no quit in me. You'll never see me quit. I'm either gonna go out on my shield, get sparked out. You'll never see me quit though. Like I said, you've seen me get dropped heavily, and I'm getting straight back up, and we're continuing to fight. So it's I'm hoping now, this is it's all going to be worth it, yeah, and I'm going to be a full-time world champion.
That's so dope. I love it. Like I said, we don't talk crap on my show, but let's say hypothetically it is, we're at face-offs and you're standing in front of Barrett. What do you say? Because this moment is so tense. A lot of people see it on TV. A lot of people don't get the opportunity to be on the stage and photograph it or video it, so they don't really feel that aura that's going on. What does Dan Podmore take to face-offs, and what does he say to his opponent?
I don't say much. I get immersed in the moment. And what I try to look deep into your eyes. And I look deep into your soul, right? And I can tell whether there's quit in you, and I can tell whether there's fear. And I mean, if someone tries to not, turn away and look, you know what I mean? I just try and I look deep into your soul, and I'm seeing if you're prepared to what's going to come. It's I say because it's very rare that there's people are going to go to the lengths that I'm willing to go to win. So I gauge how that guy is feeling, and all the nerves and stuff like that, because I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I'm going to do. And are they ready to stop what I'm about to give? So yes, I don't really say much. I'm not really a smack talker. I don't like to trash talk. I let my talking. I let my fist do the talking. And if you beat me on the night, fair play to you, because I know that you've put the time and effort in to beat me. Because I've put a lot of time and effort into to win and to beat them. So if I don't win, I know that you've trained hard, and I know that you've done whatever possibly you can to beat me, and you've put the time and effort in. But like I said, there's a lot of people that train hard, but I go to silly extent of training, and to get myself ready. I've got an unbelievable energy engine, and I'm fit, and I'm always ready to go.
Well, mate, you don't have to say words after the way you described that stare off. I mean, you scared the shit out of me, and I'm sitting on the other side of the pond. I mean, I love it, because that's what I gathered from the little bit of research. You can look around. There's no papers. There's no notes. If it doesn't come from here, then I don't want to spew it, And a lot of people, God bless their souls, they want to use Chat GPT and all this other stuff. To me, if it's not real and if it doesn't have inadequacies, then what's the sense of doing it?
Absolutely.
But I love it because, man, the UK is killing it right now. And this is so tremendous what Mike Vasquez did by buying BKB and converging and already having that relationship, because look at Liam Rocky Reese. Did a tremendous job, beat Scott McHugh. Look at Harrison Gigliotti, beat Fitzpatrick. I mean, the fights are getting banging, bro. You've seen what the Trigon looks like now, but you've yet to be in it.
Yeah.
How afraid of the Trigon is Dan Podmore? Because I'll tell you, and then the people listening might say, that's a stupid question, Don. It's not a stupid question because you see it on TV and you go, holy crap, that's small. But when you see it in person, it's a hell of a lot smaller than it is on TV. So the corners were designed to make you fight your way out. You can't step 2 or 3 feet that way or 2 or 3 that way. The whole thing is a mathematical equation that's designed to make you fight. Is this Dan Podmore's playground? Is this something that you know you're thoroughly going to enjoy?
Well, being a boxer, boxers look for angles, but now with the Trigon, it already gives you the angles. You know what I mean? As long as you've got, you know, you can instill your own ring generalship and taking that center. I think it's very going to be very difficult to get out of the corners. So, but like I said, it's going to be a battle of who wants it most in the center. And I'm just, yeah, like I said, you could put me in a phone box and I'll still fight. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. You've put me in a circle, a square, a triangle, an octagon, phone box.
Hay bales. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
So it doesn't matter. We're gonna embrace it. You know, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a great experience. I've just gotta put a few rounds under my belt in the Trigon. And I can't wait. I really can't wait. Like I said, I would have loved to been out once more before this. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the fight. I'm always excited to fight. And I just can't wait to get in there.
Right. You know, today's show, I'm sorry, I'm going to get to the comments. I blew everybody off today. It's just I love this conversation because the humility that you have, the respect that you have for the sport and life, and you're so intriguing and giving. It's just I got caught up in this conversation because you could tell that you truly love what you do. You're truly comfortable inside your skin. And
Absolutely.
now that it's a second coming for a multiple world champion, if you had to open up a book to the first page, the first chapter, whether it be a sentence or a paragraph on the second coming of Dan Podmore, what would that statement say?
Believe and you will achieve. And there'll be a picture of me with my 5 titles, just like looks like on my Instagram. My 5 belts that I've won. Believe and you will achieve. That is it. The power of manifestation and affirmations. It's believe and you will achieve.
Yeah, you know, I love that because your whole testament, your whole walk in this sport has truly been about that. I mean, my friend, I am so honored that I got to have you on my show.
Thank you very much.
I've heard a lot about you, and I know BYB worked very hard, and you guys did away with daylight savings time, and we still have it where I'm at in my part of the country. So I apologize for the time difference, but mate, keep building this sport. Keep showing the youth and other people around the world that you can maintain your humility and still be one of the greatest in the sport. You know, Bill Stacks, a great friend of mine from chatting with Stacks, he says, yo, the original Fighter's Voice was Don Mcguire. And he says, what's good, Dan? You know, I think it's prevalent to share people like this because they do shows too. And, you know, for people like that to watch my show and to see what you're willing to share with the world, it opens the eyes. And when that happens, people start discovering what a unique individual you truly are in life. Like I said, I knew of you, I saw you fight, but getting to know the man today really changed everything. You know, it's like I was on the phone with Jimmy Finn, who's in Ireland the other night, one of the creators of, women's boxing, and helped Barbara, I can't even say her name, Barbara Buttrick, become one of the first women in boxing from Europe. And it's like to see what you guys have created and built in a short period of time. It's tremendous. I can't wait for the next 10 years, because
Absolutely.
when Mike and them created this vision, I've been with 3 different companies, and this is the only company I decided to stay with, because if you can have a contract with a man over a handshake, and here I am this many years later, I don't need to be anywhere else.
Absolutely.
But mate, you have just, oh God. Some of my friends are kind of kooky, okay? And I'm going to read it because it's funny, but I don't expect you to do it. He says, "Crazy times with Dan Podmore. Sing Sweet Caroline after he wins."
Well, there's a guy who he MCs on the show. His name's Matt Kirby. You might even get, a bit of that during the show. So it's always a really good show to watch, to be fair. So
Yeah. Well, it isn't a European event without Sweet Caroline anyway, and I
that's
love
it.
I love the MC that they have with BKB. I love what he did the last show with Goldie, Mike Goldberg. To me, I
Yeah.
felt their chemistry was just beautiful. And I'm not saying that to knock Paulie Malignaggi or anybody. So whoever wants to get mad at me, you can take that and put it where the sun don't shine. But I just felt that for that type of event, for a European commentator and for one of the best commentators in the United States, to sit down, the chemistry just flowed. The chemistry was beautiful. The event was beautiful. I'm so excited for what's about to happen in the United Kingdom and Wales and just all over there, because the vision, I'll tell you, I had Mike and Greg on my show, and we're going to wrap things up because I know you got to get to bed, mate. I had Greg and Mike on my show, and Mike said, "I'm building a glass house." He said, "I'm not building something gold and shiny and polished. I'm building a glass house from the bottom up because I want you to see what it takes to build a real promotion." He says, "Because I'm building something not to sell, but to have something here 50 to 60 years from now. So your fighters, my kids and other fighters will have a place to call home." Now, hearing that statement that Mike Vasquez made, how does it make you feel now that you're with BYB, knowing that the promoter is probably one of the most honest men I've ever met in my 40-year walk in the history of the sport?
It's funny you say that, because my coach, is obviously James Kennelly's brother. Obviously, James Kennelly's been over to the US. He was having a chat with Mike Vasquez, and he was saying that he's for the fighters. You know what I mean? So he's not all about making money and this, that, and the other. So he's already got money. He said, but he's there for the fighters. You know what I mean? So he does not mind taking a loss on a show if there's great fights on the show. You know what I mean? So it's nice to know that we've got now a new promoter. That's all about the fighters. Make sure that the fighters get what they deserve. And I'm just I can't thank Mike enough for to having more opportunity and us, and give us this opportunity to develop ourselves as well. So as well as develop the sport. And I can only speak on behalf of myself, but I am going to put my heart and soul into still performing for this company. So
See, what I love about it too, and I want the world to know this, because I don't think the world knows. You fighters over there do. But BYB could have came in and just wiped everybody out started from scratch, but they didn't. They didn't yank the rug from underneath anybody. They kept a lot of the same people, just under a different title. But you know the great thing about it is there's no fighters in the UK that are uncomfortable because they're still with the same people. They're still being pushed the same way and loved the same way with Joe Brown and Jim Freeman Dove and all involved. And I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but the cut woman over there is quite
Sammy.
phenomenal. Yeah, she's tremendous, man. I love a lot of the aspects of Europe because when it was being congealed here and created here, you know, you were already winning titles. Julian Lane from the United States was already winning titles over in Europe. You know, so it's great to see such a tremendous aspect of the sport get defined in America. It really needed to be because you guys will pull up and drop 13 hail bays, 14 hail bells, and just make a little circle and fight for the hell of it because you guys just love bare knuckles so much. But now you guys get to do it on a much more bigger scale and on a legal limit. You know, I remember Decca Hedgie and all these people over there back in the day trying to create a name for themselves. But you've created a name for yourself as a multiple world champion, my brother.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
go out there in 8 days. This is crazy because this is in 8 days. Go out in 8 days and show the world that you truly deserve this opportunity. You've earned this opportunity and become the first Bridgerweight Police Gazette Diamond World Champion in the history of bare
Sounds good.
knuckle.
Sounds good.
Nate, I'm going to get to a couple of these real quick. Hey, Nate, I'm not going to ask that comment on the show. Jonathan Cole says, keep the path down and get your strap back. You realize you made a mistake and learn to respect, my friend. He's talking about a heavyweight fight with Leak, but that will come down the road and we'll get a second opportunity at that because that's a fight I really want to see. I ain't gonna lie, I want to see that fight because I know your fighting style. I know you weren't on point. You weren't you that night, and I'd love to see that second opportunity. So, Mel Valenzuela, can you hear me? But
It's got to
he
get
said,
past Trujillo first, though. We'll see. We'll see.
yeah, Nate says they don't make them like Dan Podmore anymore. No, they don't. They really don't. And he says when Dan Podmore wins, we'll sing "Sweet Caroline." Hey, brother, you got it. I'll go on here, even though I sound like crap. Dan, one last question, mate. It's the middle of the afternoon, and you're walking down a path, and you come to a puddle of water on your way, and you look down, and for some strange reason, for a brief moment, you get a glimpse into Dan Podmore, into who you are. Who do you see?
I see just a normal guy, an absolute normal, humble guy trying to fight to feed his family, and that is it. And whatever comes, with that, I'm not. I'm not looking to be, a famous man and this, that, and the other. I just want to leave a bit of a legacy. Like I said, I see just a normal guy, absolute normal person that loves to fight. And if I was to look into my life, I'd say, wow, what a ride.
Wait, one of my listeners wants to know, will Dan Podmore ever consider a career in commentating after retirement from fighting?
Well,
You have a great voice, mate.
I don't see that I'm going to be retiring anytime soon because I feel like I've got a new lease of life for the sport again. But absolutely, yes, I would. Just to be a part of something, as it still continues to grow. You see, if I stop fighting myself, I'd absolutely love to commentate. Absolutely.
You're perfect for it, mate. You really are. I'm gonna get one more out of here because this gentleman's going in the Hall of Fame with me. He says, "What's up, fellows?" And that's Andrew Drew Griggs out of Louisiana. You know, the great thing about life is you're already living it. You know, you almost had it taken from you, got that understanding, and now you have a greater appreciation, mate. This is more than a second opportunity for you. Like I said, this is your chance to become the first Bridgerweight champion in the world and create a legacy that nobody, even if you lose your titles 10 years down the road, you will
Still
always
worth
be.
to do. Yes,
But yeah, I know you don't plan on it, but you still will always be the first in the history.
absolutely.
And that's beautiful, man. You know, like I told you earlier, I like seeing other people succeed. You saw from Nate Wren on here. Like I said, I started helping him years ago because he had the talent. I just had to teach him not to make the mistakes. And now that I've done that, he's a three-time Hall of Famer and continuing. And I told him, you better surpass me because I didn't spend 7 years of my life teaching you for you not to surpass me.
It's always
Now,
nice to see people win. So
yeah. Well, an adaptive athlete who I love, he's a wheelchair boxer, Charles the Professor Wilton. He says hard work pays off. It most certainly does.
it does
And
indeed.
and Drew Griggs says best of luck in your upcoming war, Dan. And my brother from New Jersey, Mr. Steve Schroeder, jumped on here and says hi. You know, mate, I've taken you longer than I should have, but I'm fascinated by you. I love what you bring to bare knuckle. You are a tremendous individual. You know, I love you as a fighter, but I respect you more as a man,
Thank you
if
very
that makes
much. Appreciate
sense.
it.
You know, what I found in you was an inspiring individual. And man, I'm blessed. Like I said, I don't do shows this early, but I'm going to start doing them this early for you guys in the UK because we need to share more of you and your story, especially, you know, and I don't have to ask BYB, you know, but I'm going to ask you after this fight. I would love to have you back on, you know, depending on the
Absolutely.
outcome. But
Absolutely.
I think the world needs to hear part two of Dan Podmore. With that being said, I want to pass the mic to you, my friend. I know in the UK you guys have a lot of sponsors. So if you have any sponsors, friends or family, or any social media sites, or just anything else you'd like to add to the program, the floor is yours.
I've got a couple sponsors. Highland Whiskey Clan. They're a Irish and Scottish whiskey brand. You know, they do big things over here. A couple of guys that I work with, Dan Luckman, the Luckman Fitness. Yeah, it helps me get into good shape. My trainer, Mike Kennelly, he's done the utmost best and taught me things that I've never knew that was even possible. I've got Silverback CBD. They've been with me for a long time. You know, he's another guy that's out for the fighters. He's great to work with as well. I've got a couple of close friends as well, also sponsor me. Dan Rolfe is a resin drive company. He's a good friend and always likes to help out. Who else? Let's have a think. Well, I think my mind's gone blank. But anybody else, you know, I appreciate you all, and I can't do this. You know, I can't do this without you all. And I can't thank you enough for having me on the show. Like I said, I'm looking forward to putting a show on next week. And you never know, you might even see me over the pond soon.
Hey, that'd be fantastic, and I'll make sure that I'll be at
Absolutely,
that event. You know, you're thanking me for coming on my show, bro, but thank you. You know,
it's my
I've
pleasure.
interviewed I've interviewed just about every fighter across 4 different genres, and I gotta admit, today was just about right there with the Daniel Cormier interview that I did back right before UFC
Oh,
200.
okay,
Well, I like honesty. I like people who are genuine, and I like people who are respected and give respect on their walk. And my friend, I've seen what you brought to the sport. You're a tremendous athlete, but you're, like I said earlier, you're an even greater man and an individual. And I'm blessed that I got the opportunity. So with that being said, man, go get some sleep, mate. and we'll see you in 8 days in Wolverhampton. You know, and the world will see when
Absolutely.
Have a great
Absolutely.
night, mate. I appreciate it.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. See you later.
All right, brother. God bless.
Good night.
All right. I love the hell out of this guy, right? Charles Whitten, wasn't he the greatest? I mean, I don't know how much of you guys caught of this interview because I don't generally do shows at 2:30 in the afternoon. But this guy is incredible. His fights, you know, and we talked about a lesson learned with Leak, and I asked him how much he would like to get that back. Leak was huge compared to him, but I tell you what, the cross correlation between American and UK fighters and Welsh fighters and everything is just beautiful. I love the way the sport is going because the competition is so valuable and equal. Man, I can't wait for the card. BYB 33 in Wolverhampton, South Midlands in the UK. You can get your tickets at bybtickets.com. They're probably already sold out, but I would try anyway. But this card is just so stacked. You know, it almost makes me wish that I was still traveling the world because I would have loved to have been there. Well, with that being said, I want to thank everybody in the United Kingdom and all of you here in the United States and across the world. I just love the guy. With that being said, have a good day and God bless. Oh, wait, before we do that, what's up, John Bernard? I just had Dan Podmore on. We're wrapping things up right now. And man, it was a hell of an interview. If you want to see a good interview from an intellectual and just a tremendous man like yourself, then go back and watch the replay, bro. He was sick. Charles, Professor Wilton says they are hard over. Yeah, they are hard in the UK, but you know what? There's a lot of tremendous people too that have great ability, but even a bigger heart. With that being said, have a good day and God bless.